If your video has been sitting at 0 views, this video is what you needed 6 months ago. But moving forward for the next 6 months, this is going to change. Because I've seen creators with genuinely good videos, decent thumbnails, solid hooks, posting consistently and still getting nothing. And 9 times out of 10, it's not because of the content that you're posting, it's actually something else. Sometimes your settings that you need to change. I know this because I was posting to my channel for more than 6 years and getting basically a few hundred views per video, thinking I was doing everything right. Now, good content, decent thumbnails and proper titles, yet I was still getting nothing. And it turns out that I wasn't missing better content, I was missing these 5 important settings. And so let's fix that for you as well. So I'm going to walk you through these 5 settings, explain exactly which one does and why you should change them and why exactly it's changing the results on your channel. Go to your YouTube, hit the settings, then channel, then advanced settings. And the first thing you see is a question. Is your channel made for kids? Most creators entirely ignore this and leave it on review video by video, thinking that's kind of the safe middle ground, and it's not. Here's what's actually happening when you do that. YouTube runs 2 completely separate ecosystems here. There's a main platform where the recommendation engine is running consistently, deciding which videos to push in front of viewers in the homepage, and whose content shows up in the suggested feed, as well as who gets discovered by people who've never heard of you before. Then there's the YouTube Kids app, a completely walled off version of the platform and is completely separated from the regular YouTube app. And while I've worked with and created a lot of kids content, made for kids content can also have a lot of limitations, so you need to make sure you know what you're getting into with that. But most channels are not made for kids, right? So when your channel is flagged as made for kids, or when you're reviewing it video by video, ticking yes for individual uploads, YouTube moves that content into Made for Kids ecosystem, and the moment that happens, the recommendation engine basically switches off for those videos, where at the very least it changes. There's no personalized ads, there's no homepage distribution, no suggested traffic pulling in new viewers, the whole thing completely changes. The video is technically live, but YouTube stops working like it usually does with not made for kids content, right? Some creators rush through the initial channel setup and never confirm the settings. Others think the review per video option gives them more control, and it doesn't. It just means that you're making the wrong call more often without realizing it. Unless you're genuinely making content for kids under 13, set this to no at the channel level, not per video. So every upload defaults correctly, so you're not accidentally setting it in the wrong ecosystem. So that way when you upload a new video, it automatically says, no, this is not made for kids, unless of course you're making a made for kids content. That's a completely different ballgame. Now, if you've had this setting on this whole time, chances are some of your content is made for kids. So make sure you fix that if it's not made for kids. The next setting is one most creators have never even seen. And if you've uploaded anything in the last 6 months, you need to check it right now. Now, this one's newer, and I'd guess that most of you watching this probably haven't even seen it before. When you're uploading a video, scroll down past the usual stuff and hit Show More. There's a question sitting there, and does this video contain altered or video synthetic content? Creators mess this up all the time. They see that question and panic. Maybe they've used stock footage, AI tools, or they just run a faceless channel, so they click yes, thinking that they're doing the right thing. But that one click can quickly kill their reach because that flag isn't for any of that. It's specifically for content that features realistic fake versions of real people or fabricated real-world events. Deepfakes, AI-generated news clips, fake interviews with realistic figures or public figures, and that's what YouTube designated for this. If your content doesn't do any of that, then the correct answer is no. Stock footage, voiceovers, AI-assisted editing, faceless production, none of that triggers the need to flag it, so just click no. When you incorrectly flag content that is synthetic and AI, you're sending your video into an additional review process before YouTube will even distribute it. The algorithm is slower to test it, slower to push it, and ensures specifically the algorithm makes fast decisions about what to show next, and losing that early momentum before the video even gets a proper test can essentially kill your production. So go back and check your last 10 uploads. If you've been clicking yes on this when you shouldn't have been, then fix it. Again, this is not asking if you've used AI tools as a process for creating your videos. This is for content that is clearly AI or it's about a real person, a public figure, an event, things like that, but it's clearly AI. And going forward, only flag it if your video genuinely features fabricated versions of real people or events. And now the next setting has nothing to do with your upload checklist. It's something that you set up once and it quietly works in the background every single time someone watches your videos. Most creators treat playlists like a filing system, and I've been guilty of this in the past as well. They think it's just a way to organize videos so that channels look tidy. That's not what playlists are for, at least not what they are for today. They may have been built with that intention, but it's been changing. And that misunderstanding has cost a lot of people a lot of watch time. What's actually happening is YouTube's recommendation engine is heavily weighted towards session time, not just individual video performance. It doesn't just want you to know someone watched your video, it wants to know someone watched your video and then kept watching more videos, ideally more of your own videos, not just any videos on YouTube. Did they stay on YouTube? Did they stay on your channel specifically? The behavior tells YouTube your content is worth pushing to way more people because of session time. Playlists are one of the most direct ways to influence that signal, and to do it in a legitimate way. There's a lot of black hat strategies people use, but this one actually doesn't get you in trouble, which is fantastic because it's a built-in feature with YouTube. When someone is watching your video inside of a playlist, YouTube's autoplay defaults to the next video in the playlist. You're not competing with every other video on YouTube on the platform, especially with that autoplay feature that's often checked on by default for a lot of users. For getting the viewer to watch the video automatically, that's a completely different dynamic, all right? So here's how you build this system properly. Go to the YouTube Studio, create a new playlist, and name it something like people actually would want to click into. Not my videos, call it something specific to your niche, or maybe even a specific topic on your channel. For example, on my channel, I talk about anything with YouTube, but I could make specific categories about just the algorithm or just thumbnails or just ideas. The ideas are endless and essentially on what you name these playlists. Then add your strongest related videos to it. Videos that flow naturally from one to the next, where watching one makes you want to watch the next one. Then next, what you want to do is go into these videos and hit share, grab a link that drops the viewer directly inside the playlist and put that link in your video description, pin it to the comments, and you can even recommend that playlist at the end of your current video in the cards. And also, more importantly, in the video end screens. So this way, you're not just uploading videos anymore, you're building a loop that keeps people interested in your videos and keeping them on your channel. Now, this is where things actually get interesting because the next setting actually takes everything that you've built and just puts it all on autopilot. The default move for people here is just to slap on a subscribe button there and add one recommended video. And the recommended video is usually just whatever YouTube auto selects, which is often not the best option. And while it's not the worst, it can be improved. So instead of pointing your end screen to a single video and you can recommend it at the end of the video you're recording, which is not a bad option, but point your audience to a playlist that you've just built. When you do that, the first video in the playlist becomes the thumbnail that shows in your end screen. When a viewer clicks it, the next video in the playlist auto plays, and then the next one, and so on and so forth. You've essentially turned one viewer into multiple video sessions without them having to make a decision each time. This means more watch time, stronger session signals, more binge-worthy content, and YouTube sees these signals and starts to recommend it to a larger audience. But here's the thing about YouTube end screens that most people aren't actually accounting for. They only appear for the last 20 seconds of a video, so they only capture the viewers who actually made it to the end. That's a smaller group than you'd probably like. You're only capturing the last bit of your audience there. And if you haven't used my audience retention techniques for your videos on YouTube, you're probably getting 15% of your audience to watch that little last 20 seconds of your video, as opposed to my videos where I'm getting 30, 40, sometimes 50% of my viewers making it to the end of the video. They're seeing that end screen and they're watching more content. That's why end screens are only a piece of the system, not the whole thing. They're the safety net for your most engaged viewers and the people who get all the way through the video. But there is a catch with these end screens that you probably haven't accounted for, and that's going to be setting number 5 that you need to fix. Alright, so now it comes to cards. I have a little bit of a mixed opinion with cards because they are good in some situations and they're not helpful in others. Number one, if you're using cards, especially within the first half of your video, you're adding distractions for your audience to click on and leave the current video, which means your average view duration is going to drop on that video. And while yes, you're adding binge-worthy content and your audience is clicking more videos in those cards, these are what show up in the top right of your video. This is where the average view duration essentially goes down. And it's not a huge impact on your video, but it is noticeable. But the other thing that it can help is getting your audience to that playlist from your card rather than the end screen, especially if you're putting that card within the first 10 to 15, maybe 30 seconds. I think that's still too early, to be honest. So you could probably do it within the first minute to 3 minutes of having a card there with the playlist, and you can actually do a call to action to it, kind of like what I've already just done where I point to the right side of your screen, and then you actually let your audience click on that playlist and they can watch more of your content. It could potentially hurt your retention in the current video you're promoting that in, but it does help encourage binging. And so I'm still kind of a little mixed on this topic. It can help, but it also could potentially hurt one of your videos at the same time. But if I were to kind of take a step back and just look at the data that I've had with my clients and my own videos, I have seen it be more helpful than not. And so it is worth still trying out to see if it works for your audience. It also does depend on what channel or playlist or video that you're recommending in those cards. Ideally it's a playlist, because if you're going to sacrifice a little bit of watch time on the current video for them to go watch a playlist, ideally you want to make up that watch time, potentially even double or triple it because of that action that you've made. And so by now I would probably practice what I preach and recommend a playlist over here for you to watch next, but I'm not going to do that. Actually, what I'm going to do is tell you to go watch a specific video that's going to help relate to the current topic that I've spoken about, and take in these 5 tips that I've given you and add 7 more onto it. So I actually stopped these 7 things, and you'll actually see what happens when I did that. When I wanted to actually grow my channel on YouTube, it actually started to skyrocket my results. So click on that here, stop these 7 things, and you'll be able to grow your YouTube channel much faster.